Is it too late to start dropshipping in 2025? And is it easier or harder to succeed today with all the different AI tools versus in the past when there was less competition? And will you finally get laid or even just get out of bed after rotting in it all day watching YouTube videos? Well, all those questions and more will be answered in today's video as we cover the current state of dropshipping, where things are at, the future of dropshipping, what you can do to differentiate and set yourself up for success, and of course, cover the common obstacles and problems that you'll have to overcome in order to be financially free with this business model, or really any business model that you decide to endeavor on. Now, the first question is dropshipping dead? Is it something that I can realistically start today and in a year from now have a full-time income? Well, to answer your question, I want to show you this. Yeah, that looks like something that is pretty legit to me. Is dropshipping dead? There's your answer, buddy. Here's the reality. Obviously, I'm an exception to the rule. I've been dropshipping for 6+ years now. I've taught other people how to do it. I've been around the block. I am an unk. But if you're someone who has not seen success yet, or you are just right now embarking on the start of your journey, what realistically can you do to set yourself up for success? Because we all want the same things. We all want to be financially free, to take care of our family, to set our own schedule, to be able to travel more often, to be able to work from anywhere. And all those things and more are possible with dropshipping. But is it the best for you? Or should you throw all your money into Haktua coin and just call it a day? This is not financial advice. Well, first, I want to cover where we're currently at with dropshipping and what you're most likely doing if you are in the game right now. Now, the current state of dropshipping is higher ad costs. Right now, TikTok is about to be banned in the US. That is a huge deal. More people will be flocking over to Facebook ads, which means CPMs, the cost to show your ad, is going to be higher. It is going to increase, making it more difficult for you to sell products unless they are higher ticket. They have bigger AOVs, bigger margins, because when you have to spend more money to get views, you usually have to sell products that are more expensive. The problem is most people haven't caught up to that. They're still selling cheap knickknacks, cheap gimmicky products that don't really solve problems, but look cool visually, and they are just blown away when they have a $100 CPM and they can't make that product work. Right now, suppliers, I'd say, are better than ever before. Almost any product you can ever find, you can get 1 to 2 week shipping. That is no longer an issue with dropshipping in the business model like it was in the past when people were using AliExpress and it would take 4 weeks and it was crappy quality. So quality is now better than ever before. Facebook ads are now more expensive than ever before. There's now more software and tools than ever as people are really trying to capitalize and sell shovels during the gold rush, understandably. Most of these softwares are crap though. Every AI tool, builder, all that stuff is just a cop-out. It is just you looking for a way to make this easier instead of actually focusing on quality and learning skills. These AI website builders will not make you rich. These AI creative tools will not make you rich. In most cases, they're going to lose you more money than they make you. You think you're saving money when in reality, in the long term, it's losing you money because the quality of them is just simply not that good. Most softwares are going to be absolute dog shit. And you have to know which apps actually make a difference and are worth my time and money and investment by looking at the return, by learning from the right people, by maybe watching my top 5 apps video. That was a great video that totally flopped, by the way. And then using those as part of your app stack. And I'd say the final current state of dropshipping that I'm seeing a lot is that people just simply suck at making creatives. They suck at testing. They suck at making. Pause. When it comes to testing, most people are still very naive as to the best way to test a product. I 100% vehemently believe that you have to be testing with at least 10 ads. And the reason why is because 90% of ads fail. If you just do the math, if you only test 3 ads like the majority of dropshippers are doing today, they test with 3 ads, sometimes 2 ads, sometimes only 1 ad. The odds of being successful are so freaking slim. Imagine you are trying to win at blackjack, for instance, and you only played 1 hand. Obviously, yeah, in that case, you probably have close to a 50-50 shot. But imagine all you had to do to make $1 million or to make $10,000 a month was just keep gambling. Essentially, instead of just playing 1 hand, imagine if you had 10 hands at the same time, and all you had to do was just win 1 time and you would make $10,000. Just think of the odds. Would you rather have only 1 hand you're playing on that blackjack table or 10 different hands? So you have 10 chances of being successful. All the hands have an equal shot of being successful, but you only gave yourself 1 hand. Why would you do that? It might not have been the best analogy in the world, but you get the point. The more spins you have, the more things you try when testing a product, the higher the chances of success. Now, it gets to a point where putting in more ads and spending more money to test those creatives, it kind of has a depreciating return. There is a point in which that happens. And I'd say anything more than 15 to 20 ads, if you test a product with 15 to 20 ads and it doesn't work, it's just not the right product. Move on, buddy. Unless the quality of your ads is really just not that good. But most people just simply rip a few ads, call it a day. Those ads have already scaled, have already reached the main audience for that. They're already fatigued, and you're hoping they're somehow going to get a new life for you. That is not a strategy for success by any means. Now, that's the current state of things. Now, before we get into the future and what you can do to separate yourself from everyone else who's currently doing that, I want to talk about, is it easier or harder to succeed today versus in the past? Now, in the past, TikTok was not a thing. It was just Facebook. It was just one or two product research tools, to be honest. It was Ecom Hunt back in the day, which is still around, but it's an absolute piece of crap. There was no PP ads. There was no ad scalps. There really was no Temu either. It was quite a crappy product selection back in the day, where you would have to really just go on AliExpress and go through page after page after page. A lot of crappy products that had no creatives whatsoever. That a lot of times you would have to order creatives and get custom content done from the get-go. It was the wild, wild west. Now where CPM's much cheaper, 100%. I would say a product that has a $50 CPM today probably had a $5 CPM even 3 or 4 years ago. There's no doubt about that. And that's why selling clothing products, home decor products that you could sell with images was usually a lot easier back in the day because you didn't really need video creatives to explain them like you would do with a problem-solving product. So I'd say back then there was quite a competitive edge for those types of products, but for problem solvers, today is the best time ever because nearly every product has creatives, has videos on Amazon, has videos on TikTok, has videos on YouTube, Instagram, all these different places where if you know where to source, you can have endless content to test almost for months because there's so much content available. And usually it's always new. It's constantly evergreen as people are scaling on TikTok Shop and these other platforms. So we're now in a place where content for ads is readily available. It's better than it's ever been. The startup cost is still around the same. If you have a few $1,000s, let's say $3,000 to $5,000, that is plenty to invest into a program and have enough to test at least 10, 20 products and get some sales that will mitigate some of those costs and still be able to put in your reps, learn your skills, improve, iterate. And through improving each ad test, through improving each website, through improving each offer over time, you are going to unlock that right combination of testing a product to have that winner. So the startup costs has remained the same. Is there more competition? I would argue it's probably still around the same. Let's be honest, crypto's making a nice little bull run right now. More people are moving and gravitating their time and attention over there because they want instant gratification. They want the least path to resistance to be rich. But still in those business models, 95 to 99% of people make nothing because they're impatient. They don't want to develop real skills. They want a silver platter that is just given to them. And even in this industry, it's the same thing. People want winning products just given to them. Do you really think someone is going to give you a winning product? If a product is making someone money, why the hell would they give it to you? Unless they're selling shovels and they really don't believe those products are winners and they're just selling it to you knowing I make more money selling and giving these products away in a video than actually selling them myself. And that is why I will never make a top 10 products to sell video. And I would say any YouTuber who does that realistically is someone you should consider not trusting because they make more money giving you those products than they would actually testing those. That's just the point out truth. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense financially. So you have to be able to fend for yourself. You have to be able to fish for yourself, learn the skills, be able to find your own products that no one else is really testing that does have proven sales validation, that does have content available, that does have the right margins. And then you're setting yourself up in that case for the best chance to be successful with that product. But then of course, you got to test it with the right things on your website, with your ads, testing at least 10, 15, 20 ads to give that product the best chance to work for you compared to someone else that might test the same exact product but not giving that product really any chance at all to shine. Now, in terms of easier to harder to succeed, in terms of scalability, this is a business model that I don't know how you can't get romantic about it because of the scalability. The fact that you can just test a product with a few $100s, and if you learn the right skills, you can scale that product up on day 1 to $100, on day 2 to $500, to day 3 to $1,000, to day 4 to $5,000. You can go from $0 to $5,000 a day in the same week. Completely change your life, and it just takes one product. That promise alone should be what motivates you to keep testing, to keep learning, to keep developing your skills. And I know you've heard it a million times. You're just one product away. God, I could tattoo that on my forehead the amount of times I've heard that. But it really is the truth, because you can build a brand around that product. You can fire yourself and build a team that runs the business for you. You can set your own schedule. You can wake up in the morning and have people that are already scaling up your ads, that are making new creatives, if you build the right team and system around you. And that's insane. The fact that you started this business with only a few $1,000s with no skills, and then through testing, through learning from the right people, through being in the right programs, you learn the blueprint, you learn the skills, and you keep on improving and sharpening that saw every single day to the point where you had that winning product that allows you to live your dream life. That is unheard of. And the only reason you'll ever fail is just due to a lack of patience, a lack of skills, or a lack of reps. So, and this is one of my favorite quotes. I watched Moneyball recently, and in Moneyball, if you haven't watched it, your life isn't complete by any means. But in the movie, basically there's this manager who's trying to rebuild the worst team in baseball. And in it, he has a great quote, which is just, I hate losing more than I love winning. I hate it. And I get that that's how most people approach things. They hate losing. But if you want to really win, you have to love losing in this game. You have to love testing a product, not seeing it work, and just obsessing over how can I make it better? How can I improve? You have to love the process. That's the big thing. It's all about the process, the process, the process. Trust the process. Joel Embiid. Because if you don't love the process of testing products, of going out on a Saturday afternoon, your friends are out, your family's having a good time, maybe they're on the beach at Fort Lauderdale, drinking a few mimosas, hitting on some 20-year-old girls. If they're lucky, usually they're like 16. You never know nowadays, especially with those bars on Las Olas. But you have to be comfortable with being in your room, spending an hour or 2 hours a day, just looking at page after page of products. Then building your list. You have to be comfortable with on a Sunday afternoon while everyone's watching football, while everyone's eating their brunch, having even more mimosas, because that's the best way to cure a hangover. You are working on a website. Maybe you watch some Joe Rogan on the side, or listen to my beautiful Jewish mucusy voice, guiding you and motivating you to tell you that it is worth it. You will be successful if you put in these actions. If you sacrifice this time today, if you just lock in for the next few months and have dedicated time and effort and time blocks that you put into this, you will be successful. You just have to love the process, and you have to be realistic as to the time frame to success. It will most likely take a few months, maybe even a year. And you have to be comfortable with that because you love the process so much. You love testing products. You love making ads. You love making websites. Because if you don't love doing this, if this is a chore, if you're saying to yourself, I have to do this rather than I get to do this, you're going to quit. The money isn't going to be enough to motivate you because you won't be making any money in the beginning. So you have to be motivated by something else. Now, how can you separate yourself from everyone else testing the same products? I kind of want to retract that 16-year-old comment because it makes me sound terrible. But if you do live in Fort Lauderdale, there's so many bars where they let underage people in. So you don't know. They don't ID check people. And that's what I meant by that. It's terrifying. Ugh. Okay, so in order to differentiate yourself from everyone else, the people who are going to win are going to be those that have a blueprint for success that they learn most likely from someone else who's already had success and can execute that blueprint faster and better than everyone else. Speed to results, speed of implementation is the number one skill that you can adopt. of if I want success in 3 months, then I need to be willing to do a year's worth of work in those 3 months. If it takes the average person 10 to 15 products to be successful, and it usually takes them a year to test that many products, then I'm going to test that many products in 3 months, 2 months, a month. You have to think like that. Even Elon Musk says, I try to fit 10 years worth of work in a year. That's how he does things so efficiently, how he gets so much done. You can't get 3 months worth of work done in 3 months. You are going to move too slow. You are going to give up. So I would say once you have a blueprint, once you feel comfortable with the knowledge you have, stick to it. Stick to the process. Keep learning, keep improving, keep putting in more reps, because the more reps you put in, if you are improving and iterating, the faster you're going to get to success. It's going to be worth it as long as you know the blueprint you have is proven to work for others. But if you're just willy-nilly kind of throwing strategies from one person and the other person, you're getting this information overload, chances are the blueprint you're working on might not be the best because it's all over the place. Because someone else's strategy might not pair well with another person's strategy. And that's why, because they're conflicting, it's not working out for you. So I always recommend cut the BS, learn from one main person. It could be me, it could be someone else. Stick to their blueprint like it's your Bible. Stick to it. Test the products the way they want you to test products. Build the websites the way they want you to build websites, whether it's using their templates, whether it's using their creative system, whatever it is. Stick to it if you know it's proven to work. And execute as fast as possible. All of my students that have been successful this year that have scaled to 10 grand a day, 20 grand a day, are always the ones that when I tell them to do something, instead of it taking them 2 to 3 days to get it done, they get it done that night, an hour later. They don't go to bed till their work is done because they love it. If you don't love it, you're going to push it off. You're going to procrastinate. You're going to keep swiping on Hinge, keep watching TikTok reels. I keep getting that meme where it's a cat with the fake voice singing in Chinese. God, I've seen that video a million times. It's terrible. I built this For You page, brick by brick. It's all me. Now, in terms of edges on the website end of things, right now, the current state of dropshipping is everyone's using Shrine. Everyone. Is that necessarily a bad thing? I don't think yet it is. It could potentially be a problem a few months in if everyone is because it's cyclical. In let's say 2022, Debutify was that theme that everyone was using, and I was pushing people to use Pagefly instead. I think a lot of people are now trying to find a way to differentiate, and Shrine's going to be something that probably gets a little dated. But the way you can differentiate if you are using it is use sections.store. Have different sections that are not really native to Shrine. Try different apps that aren't native for bundles, for discounts. Try different review apps. Everyone's using Luke's. Everyone's using the same app stack. Try to find something that's better. Obviously, my apps video, I have stuff like that. Inside my programs, I have apps that I know most people are not using. And that's, again, how you get that edge. Split testing, offers. That's still, even though I know I preach that in every video, still, guys, I mean, I talk to people, they're not doing it. I know we're in a bubble, the Dobbins bubble here. They're not doing it, guys. The majority of people do not know how to split test an offer. They do not know how to A/B test. You are going to get the biggest performance enhancer, the biggest margin of growth compared to someone else by just testing multiple offers when testing a product, testing multiple price points, testing BOGO versus volume discount, testing low upfront versus regular price. Even this week, I mean, I had a student, Paul, who scaled to $2,000 a day, and he was at $200 a day. He was stuck there with his current offer, which was $35 plus $5 shipping. Then we tried $29 plus $10 shipping. Same price at the end of the day, but just lower upfront, and that tripled his conversion rate. Tripled it. He makes the same amount of money. His AOV is exactly the same. His conversion rate's 3 times greater, and that allowed him to scale from $200 to $2,000 a day. Those things, the split testing, the watching user recordings with Hotjar, just constantly knowing how to improve and always improving and iterating is how you make a difference compared to everyone else that will throw up one offer and stick with that to the end of time. I mean, hell, I had a call today with someone who was doing $100,000 a month. And they told me, Ethan, I have stuck with the same price and product page since day one. And I'm just like, oh my God, what the hell are you doing? Because he's not doing that great on the website side. He's making 80 cents a visitor. A good website does $1.50. He's able to scale because his cost per click is so cheap. But I was like, dude, Imagine if your website wasn't making 80 cents. Imagine if it was making $1.50. You would have made 2 times more money. You're just leaving money on the table. And I'd say the final way you can differentiate, and I think a thing I'm going to probably focus the most on next year, is building more teams, building more systems, because that's going to handle the majority of obstacles for you. You need to build teams once you have a winning product. Now, before you have a winning product, you have to learn how to do this on your own. You have to put in the work. You have to get your hands dirty, because you won't know how to hire people and if they're doing a good job if you don't know what a good job is, if you haven't really studied and understood what exactly is going on. So in terms of those teams, I'm talking about teams for mainly just ads, because ads is the biggest lever you have and the biggest differentiating point you have as well. So that means hiring and starting to train your first editor, hiring and starting to train your first creative director who is in charge of writing scripts, hiring and training potentially 1 or 2 UGC creators that you can send products to once they start to scale. Hiring and training a customer support VA that can handle all those emails so that you don't waste your time in the weeds, because realistically, that's not going to help you grow your business. It's starting to think ahead about, how do I hire people? How do I build this team? How do I fire myself? What do I spend the most time on, and how can I delegate that to someone else? Because it's possible. Believe me, what you're doing is nothing too crazy brain power wise. It doesn't require super genius rocket scientists in order to do dropshipping. I mean, this is why 15-year-olds can do it and be successful. With lukewarm IQs, without high school diplomas, without being able to even socially interact with most people. Skibbity Riz toilet. So, I truly believe if you want to be successful, the main obstacles you're going to have to overcome is just your lack of patience, your lack of reps. Obviously, there'll be some things like Facebook account bans where, you're going to have multiple profiles and ad accounts and business managers, most likely, because you're going to deal with bans. You are going to deal with payment processor holds. And in that case, you might have to switch from one Shopify store to the next, or start reaching out to third-party payment processors today so that you can have those ready to go in case Shopify payments or Stripe does unfortunately hold your money. Those are usually the 2 biggest obstacles, because the real thing is you need to be able to test products. But the things that are going to prevent you from testing products is if your ad accounts are banned and if your payments are being held. Those are the 2 biggest problems that most people really need to solve. And you can have backups, you can have references if you're in a program to people that will help you solve that. So to end today's video, I really believe, man, I think life is just simply just too short to ever have to do something you hate, to ever have to work and do a job you don't enjoy, to work for someone you don't like to work for, to live a life that is just not fulfilling for you. And if you truly are looking for fulfillment, for purpose, for another income stream, something that could potentially become your main income stream, then this is truly one of the best business models to it. I would implore everyone who is watching videos and is seeing success and is motivated and wants to push themselves, that wants more from their life, to try this out. Because at the worst case scenario, you lose a few $1,000s, but you will learn skills like how to market, how to think differently. And marketing is a core skill that every business needs. Marketing and sales, lead generation. And if it takes failing at this business model to be successful in another, then I'd say it was still worth it. But if you do stick to it, if you learn the right skills, if you put in the reps, if you stay patient, it will happen for you. It might not happen today. It might not happen next month, but it will happen to you as long as you don't give up. And I think that promise and that reward at the end of the day of being able to set your own schedule, be your own boss, and not just to kind of coast through life, but actually enjoy it and grab it by the balls, is something that everyone should pursue if that is what truly interests you. So as this new year begins, I'd recommend creating a vision board. Understand what it is you actually want to achieve, because I've been looking at this all year, and I would say I've had my most successful year in business ever by knowing exactly what it is I wanted to achieve. I wanted to buy my own place. I wanted to golf on some of the most luxurious golf courses. I wanted to see my beloved Chelsea play. I wanted to ski. I wanted to work out in the gym, be consistent, and of course, scale my businesses. Every single one of those things I look at every single day, and by golly, gee willikers, knee slapper, I made those things happen, because I was constantly reminded of them every single day. So I'd highly recommend right now, before the year starts, Create that vision board. Plan out what it is you exactly want from life, from all the different facets. It doesn't just have to be business and money. Plan that out. Be focused. Be productive with your time. Become the person that is worthy of those goals, because clearly the version of you right now isn't good enough. So you have to make those painful changes, those sacrifices, in order to realize a life that you never thought was imaginable for you. If you want something you never had, you're going to have to do something you've never done. So be efficient with your tests. Don't get attached to products. Speed and quality of decision making will trump everything you do. So make sure that when you have that blueprint, put in the work, do it efficiently, and learn from each test.